Welcome to this special edition of BMTV Nsukka program. Today, we have a very important guest in our midst, and before we introduce the guest, even though you can see him, we want to discuss important things. Because if you come to Enugu North, we have different House of Assembly members representing each state constituencies, each state constituency in our zone. And some of them, they have been actually doing well. Some of them, they have been trying. Some of them, they have not been doing anything. Some they are just there and being part of the few leaders. So, looking at that, we decided, Manyi nebe menya nihe basara representation, especially House of Assembly representations or representatives nebany. No matter how far they have gone, and we are picking them one by one constituency after another. We are starting with Nsukka East constituency. The reason we are starting with Nsukka East constituency is that, yes, Nsukka West constituency happens to be the municipal in Nsukka town. But Nsukka East is also a very important constituency in our zone. So we want to start with Nsukka East constituency today. And here we have a very important guest who actually worked for and also worked with the current representative, the current member representing Nsukka East constituency in the person of Honorable Pius Ezugu. And today we have he's known as EMC, but his name is, introduce yourself, please.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Ezugu Martins.
Okay, the same Ezugu. Is he your brother?
Yes,
He's
he's my brother. We are
brother.
from OP, so he's my brother.
No, when I say your brother, did you work with him, or he's your blood brother from the same kisman, or just coincidence?
We are not blood brothers, but we work together, and we are from the same town.
Okay, yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Good. Okay, are you done introducing yourself?
Yes, as I said before, my name is Ezugu Martins, and I'm popularly known as EMC.
Yes, I couldn't recall your full name. That's why I used EMC. That's good. You're welcome to BMTV studio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Now, Honorable Honorable Pius Ezugu, from what we know, he has been there, he has been representing, and he has moved from one party to the other, and we want to know, as somebody who is from Nsukka East constituency, what's your assessment of your representative? What do you think? How has he performed? Thank you very much.
All right. I think I will start by, trying to, do a kind of explanations to some points you raised. Let me still go back again, because you made mention of whether we are blood brothers or not. We are not blood brothers. We work together as, being the same political party. And most importantly, we are from the same town.
Okay.
So that aside. So in terms of assessing his performance so far, there's something we need to understand. When people are supporting a particular candidate in an election, there's always an objective. Maybe I would say the motive of the supporters, maybe the masses. Because anybody if you look at the 2023 general election, it was like a kind of revolution politically.
Yes.
People needed an alternative, and not just alternative, because we knew from then that the leadership then, maybe in the state I would say, have not been representing, and the people needed an alternative, to pursue the general interests of the masses. Okay. And that was why when Mr. P2B defected to the Labour Party. A lot of Nigerians, Enugu State people, down to even our Ansuka, all joined Labour Party. And then a lot of persons now declared interest under that platform. And the belief then was that, okay, if you join Labour Party, they perceived you as one who has the same ideology with that of P2. Do you understand? So there was no scrutinization then. Everybody joined, and the masses felt okay that they have seen what they were yielding for then for long, and they supported, you know. And that was how our brother, Honorable Pius, emerged. Because all of us believe that, okay, we have seen a path that can actually, that the people can call their own, you know, leader, all right? Yes, people can beat their chest and say, okay, we elected this person, and going forward, he is going to represent the interests of the masses. It's not about giving the people money. Moreover, people were not even expecting maybe big projects at that.
Yeah,
but they needed this sense of belonging that nobody appointed anybody for them. Unlike what they normally did, the theory of Ojebego mentality, all those stuff. So people believe that they have defeated that mentality. Yeah. And probably they would now have leaders, they can say, okay, we produce this one, and each time we need your service, you can give us feedback, especially as regards government policies. Yeah. So they needed that grassroots connection. Someone that can say, okay, now that the government is doing this, what do you tell us about this? You come back, you give them feedback. Of course, you know that has been the challenge that people are facing, because there's no grassroots connection. Yes. People are disconnected totally from what is happening in the government. So they needed someone that will be so sincere, you know, and transparent in their dealings. But, okay. So at that stage, that was what actually prompted, you know, a lot of persons emerging, and people threw in their support, sacrificed all they had, and we got the victory at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you for the background explanation. Now, he has been in the House of the Assembly for 3 years now. Please, what has he done for your people? Are your people getting what you bargained for? The whole mass voting and the rest of them, the transparency, is it now coming? I want to know, we want you to assess him for us.
Well, I don't want to, you know, speak for the mind of everybody.
In your view?
In my own view.
Assess him in your
from
view.
the views of the few persons I have actually interacted with at the grassroots level. Up to now, people are still questioning whether someone is still representing, or maybe the person has been recorded. Do you understand? So what is there is that, as I said before, people needed transparency. People needed somebody that can be a voice for them. But unfortunately, immediately after the election and probably their inauguration, I would say that people got disappointed. Right?
Immediately after that.
Yes. The reason is that, okay, you can imagine a situation whereby somebody, you contested the election in another political party, and you were rejected, right? And then another political party came up, which is that Labour Party. People now supported you, irrespective of how tough it was. Now you won an election under that platform, through the support of the people. Now the first project, I would say, is defection. Yes, he now defected to another party, the PDP party.
That's the same party that
yes, exactly. So that is where the loss of trust and transparency began, because people supported with a sense of trust that you are not going to be like others, and when you now betray them, they will now lose trust.
Okay.
And ever since then,
okay, continue.
You can now see that once, you know, people, the masses, for example, they give you support, but when you betray them, they withdraw their support. No matter whatever you do, may not really be of interest to them. But as it stands now, I would say to some extent, I have seen him pass some bills, but then the question we ask is, how does those bills, right, affect?
You mean sponsor some bills?
Yes, I think he did sponsor some bills. But the question we keep asking is, those bills that have been sponsored, how does, for example, now people living in Ledger, how do they benefit from that bill, right? How does people living in Edoba benefit from such bill? It's not just about moving a motion or sponsoring a bill. It goes beyond that,
Yes.
right? There are issues that affect the people. Have you seen them spoken anything about it? Remember there was a time people were being killed, kidnapped, even along Ogogo Opi Road.
Yeah, yes.
People
Which
are not
happens to be
exactly.
his
People are
place.
not asking for more. Raising up your voice shows the people that okay, this person still bears them in mind. It's not about the money or anything, right?
Yeah.
We know some lawmakers. They have not been maybe establishing projects, but you see them advocating for the interests of their people. That is one of their duties. But we don't see it currently in Suka East constituency. Do you understand? So I don't see any, practically there's no project. In that project, I would say, let us not say, because if you continue to advocate, they will say, where does he
Get
the funds? But we know that every lawmaker, both at the national and the state level, receives yearly constituency project funds or allowance. But recently we see some of them organizing scholarship. Do you understand? So we now ask, does the scholarship of a thing, is it from the first constituency project fund or the second year or because we're in the third year now. So where are we judging it from? It's not just about somebody is doing a program, but the question is, the first constituency allowance, what do you use it for? Do you understand?
Yes.
The second one, what do you use it for?
Okay.
Then we'll be talking about
Okay.
the current one.
Okay.
So practically, I can only say that the only thing I know that he has actually done is maybe sponsoring of some bills.
Okay.
As related, I think he has sponsored one of the bills they called land bill. Do you understand? So aside that, there's nothing practical. Anybody can say, okay, this is what we have actually seen from our lawmaker for the past.
You made mention
Yes.
of scholarship.
Yes.
So, if he gives maybe a student scholarship, is it for maybe to buy jump form or to go to write scholarship or pay for their WAEC? Or because I'm trying to understand how somebody who is in the State House of Assembly, when you give scholarship, how do you intend to sustain the scholarship, the funding, after you might have lost the next election?
You see, that is where transparency comes in. And that is what many of us have been condemning. You don't deceive the people in terms of leadership.
Yes.
If you want to give somebody, maybe one person, scholarship, you become very clear to the public. Tell the public the mode of the scholarship, how much that will be involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it going to cover, is it one payoff, or is it something of annual payment? Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can't just come out and say you are awarding scholarship to
Without
100 persons, and maybe 200 persons now come out to write the exam.
Yeah.
At the end, maybe you end up taking 50. You may come up again to announce to the public that you have awarded scholarship to 50 students. Without clarifying, is it 200,000 naira yearly that you're going to be paying each student? Is it 100,000? Is it 50,000? Or are you going to pay them maybe 200,000 each of them for once and then let them go? Let them go. All these have not been provided. But the only thing we know is that, as far as Nsukka East is concerned, we only hear that I think 50 students will be given scholarship.
Will be.
Will be given, not that they have been given. Will be given scholarship. Of course, you know that the tenure is almost running off. So
Yes.
that is the issue of transparency and being honest in leadership. A leader who understands the plight of his people doesn't deceive. You do what you can do. Let people see, okay, even if you are giving one person a scholarship, let it be that this person is who you give. People will say, go and verify. I can go and say, okay, let me go and look for the person you gave a scholarship. I will see the person. The debate there will be like, okay, you didn't give many people. Do you understand? But the transparency is there, is that I have the person you have given scholarship.
Okay, DMC.
Yes.
Coming to the bill, you said he sponsored about land. Do you think the bill is one of the major problems facing Nsukka East? Do you think that the bill is going to benefit Nsukka East?
A kind of have direct impact to the people.
Thank you. You know, that is one of the questions I have been asking, and nobody has been able to provide the answer. As I said before, you look out for the direct needs of your people.
Yeah.
When you make such bills, for example, that land bill, it only concerns primarily those who are into real estate development or people who are into estate businesses. Now, I had a case of when they imposed tax on traders, even traders from Enugu North, from Nsukka, Ahopi, for example, Edoba Market, for example. You saw how petty traders were being taxed. Do you understand? So we were listening to hear that, okay, we have somebody in the government. We are not saying that he should have stopped the taxing, right? But at least, as somebody who represents the people, you should have actually had a town hall meeting. Do you understand? You call your people you are representing, because most of the petty traders may not really understand what the tax is all about and why they are even being taxed. The duty of a lawmaker or a representative is to ensure that your people are being carried along in the decisions of the government. So nobody came to update them on what the policy is all about, and you saw how people were reacting so harsh about it. Obviously, you know that it was not really an easy one for the people, and thank God that the governor has actually abolished it. But throughout that period, you did not see our lawmaker speaking either in favor or against. That is the issue. So that is where we now have a lacuna in representation. So I believe that such shouldn't be what we are going to repeat again in 2027. Do you understand? So that is it.
Conclusively, in my own question as regards to Nsukka East, do you think he's the man for the job for the upcoming election?
Well, I'm not God, and I will always speak just as I have been speaking here now. I will only speak based on my own assessment. But if I'm to advise, I would say that he shouldn't buy form for election again.
Why?
Do you understand? The reason is that people are now more enlightened, unlike before. Do you understand? I told you, in 2023, people voted and supported because they believed that this person would effect the positive change they have been yearning for. But now the change has not come. Nothing, there's no difference. And the people are now ready to, because they hired you to represent them in 2023. Now you have not performed. I think the people will fire you and hire another person. And that is the obvious reality. And I believe maybe he knows, right? So it's not a joking stuff. The people know that he has not performed, and I believe he knows as well. So, but we are pleading with him not to, try to force himself, right? Because the people will speak at the end of the day. So, but for me, I would say, if you ask me, I would say anybody close to him should actually give him good advice, because leadership, you don't force leadership on people. You allow people choose you as their leader. Do you understand? So we appreciate the effort so far in the first tenure. But public office as that is not something you do out of sentiment, because it involves the lives and future of people. If you miss steps in leadership, it does not only affect one person. For example, now, concerning what I have just explained, within these few years now, you know what the poor leadership quality of our honorable now, you know what it has affected on the life of the people. Do you understand? So it has really affected. So that is why if you ask any serious person from Nsukka East, they will tell that they need another person. Yeah, they need another person. So exactly, somebody who is more competent. And I believe that in due time, people will come out, and that is how we're doing it. And that is the best way for us to go, because so that anybody who comes in we now see that, okay, he came to this office through the support of the people. And if he is not careful, he may still be evicted. So for me, I don't think he's going to be an option. But God will always decide. But we can always say our mind. So that is it.
Okay. Since, in your view, he hasn't shown commitment, he has not been transparent, and he has not been representing well, and he has not done anything on his own that you can say that this directly impacts on the lives of the people of Nsukka East State constituency. Now, my question is this: do you think he has been able to attract anything through or from the state government to Nsukka East people?
Well, thank God that we are in the era of social media.
Yes.
So, remember when I talked about the scholarship, even without me saying it, maybe you must have seen it somewhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
If anybody is doing project, anything, you don't hide it. If he has any project in Ledger, maybe I don't know, but I can tell you for free that there's no project either ongoing or completed. And of course, in a few months now, the first tenure will be over. Do you understand? So, the same thing with Halmona, the same thing with OP, where all of us, come from. So, we cannot compensate incompetence with another opportunity because it's going to be a wasted one again. So, we will not make that mistake. And I believe that even as I'm saying it now, the other people are still saying the same thing. Edoba are still saying the same thing. So, you cannot say because you are this, we just dash you people's destiny to come and do as you like. Yeah, exactly. Because people had, as I said before, people had hopes hanged on people like him. They violated a lot of rules to ensure that their voice were heard. But at the end, not as if they did not win, the people won. But then, it now looks as if the people made mistake in who they chose. Do you understand? So they made mistake. So and that mistake, I believe that they are going to, correct that mistake in 2027. And believe me, more competent hands will be employed to correct all those.
Okay, moving away from Nsukka East slightly, yes, even though it still involves Nsukka East, but this time around, let us look at Enugu North holistically. How do you think the current Enugu administration in Enugu State has been able to bring development and dividends of democracy to the people of Enugu North senatorial zone?
You see, anytime you want to talk about the current leadership in Enugu State, a lot of persons misunderstand you. Some even take it personal.
Why?
But even if you want to take it personal, some of them have even said that we hate the governor, or we hate maybe the party he is into. No.
When you say we, who are the we?
We, I mean those who are saying that maybe nothing is being done.
Okay, the critics.
Yes.
Okay.
They tag you as maybe one of the haters of the governor. Well, nobody hates anybody as a person. But what we are advocating is for the interest of all.
Yes.
Now, looking at the performance of the governor, of course, the governor started well. If you look at the energy he put when he took over, a lot of us believed that maybe he would make a difference. But along the line, we now discover that nothing is going to come out. And obviously, nothing is coming out. For example, Enugu North. Now, ordinary person, without me being here, go outside. Ask anybody about how do they feel?
Which ward are you from? Your ward?
I'm from Ijoboza ward.
Don't you have a smart school there?
Well, that is one of the absurdities in it, because they talked about smart school. And if you look around you, within the whole of Enugu North, we have structures, not smart schools. Currently, what we have is structures.
Has it been completed?
How many?
The one you have in your ward.
My own is every year one block. Yes, because I know they started it in immediately after the election. They started it, and as I'm talking to you now, it's still uncompleted, and nobody knows when it will be completed. That is the issue. Now, why do they call it? Because I remembered when they started it, they announced that 2025 September,
Yes.
that there would be the schools, all the schools would be resuming, and this is 2026, and most, in fact, all the schools, all the so-called smart schools in Enugu North, none has resumed. Some are even collapsing as we're talking now.
Are you saying none? I think the one in Obupa has resumed.
Students are attending the school,
I think
or they have finished the building. Which one?
The building.
They have finished the building.
I
We're
think
talking about
they finished
resumption.
No, I think they finished the building and students
have enrolled.
moved into the school.
Okay.
You know, but you know what makes a smart school is not a building.
Not a structure.
It's not a structure.
See, let me tell you, if the government in power, if they were sensitive enough, if they really wanted to be fair, there's no point going for smart school,
Okay.
because we have a lot of government schools that are not functioning. Do you understand? What they could have just done is to remodel most of the government schools. Or better still, even if they wanted to insist on smart school, why didn't they have at least, maybe in a zone they have one? By now, I'm very much sure that by now, if they had made it in a way that each zone will have one, another zone will have one, by now, most of them will be functioning.
When you look at our former primary schools, the way the structures are, you notice that it is so vulnerable security-wise.
Okay.
But when you look at this smart school, you notice that it's somehow enclosed to secure and to protect the pupils there.
Okay.
It's very easier than what we had before, because it was very open and porous. Each classroom has an exit, entrance and exit outside. You understand? So don't you think that, considering this security and the security situation in Nigeria, contributed to having that particular structure for smart school?
No, that is why you get into it. I never said that the idea of smart school is wrong.
You said that what they would have done is to have one in Enugu North, in each senatorial
Exactly.
zone. The reason smart schools were established or built was because of, when you look at the old model of the school structures we had, especially primary schools, it was very porous. And right now, considering insecurity, the level of insecurity in the country, you need an enclosed structure whereby it will be very easier to protect, to know who is coming in and who is going out. The other structure we had, anybody can come into the classroom, drag a child, and disappear from the school premises without people knowing. Don't you think the smart school is very, very important in order to safeguard and protect the lives of
That is not true. That is not true. As I said before, even the old schools can be, made or changed to a smart school. When you talked about the issue of insecurity being the reason, most of
being one of the reasons.
Most of the old schools, old government schools, most of them are not fenced.
Yes,
so what stops the government from fencing them and putting other things in place? Okay. That is what I meant. So I'm not totally condemning the idea of smart school or whatever.
But the
transparency,
then,
the transparency in doing the whole thing is what we and many of us are against. Okay. Look at I asked you before, how many of them in Enugu North of today are functional? None. No. Many of them have not even completed. Now this is almost 3 years of building it. So there's no transparency in that, and Enugu State money just went down like that.
Do you have, is there anyone functioning in Enugu State as it stands now?
I reliably, I think if you go to the governor, where the governor hails from, I think one of them has been commissioned, and they're already using it, as I heard. But coming to Enugu North entirely, none. That is the government we are facing today. We have a government that came to Enugu North and demolished the only market we have. That is Ogige Market. Without apology, without adequate notification to the owners of the properties there.
Without he compensated,
without compensation, I have not heard till today that anybody was compensated.
Are you sure? Okay,
I said
you say you have not heard. Okay,
maybe they can provide evidence, and I'm sure since that time till now, no government agency has come out to say, okay, we have compensated Okeke, we have compensated so people, and all that. So nobody.
But they are building, I think 5,000 capacity market down there in Albany.
Okay, thank you. They are building 100,000 capacities. I agree. But assuming you are one of those that lost their shops and properties there, you are still waiting for them to build 100 capacities of 100,000 capacities before you can survive, and without anybody consider you and doing anything to you since that time till now. So that shows that the government is insensitive of the sufferings of the people, because a sensitive government that have sympathy, right, and have compassion should know that before you can even evacuate people from maybe where they are sourcing their livelihood, you should be able to give them adequate notice and, you know, provide a temporary accommodation for them, and maybe give them some money.
In terms of notice, there were stories that notice came from the office of the governor on time, but our people, being our people, according to what they said, did not. There were some skirmish along the way, they didn't.
Madam, we understand all these things.
Okay.
You see, we're no longer in an era where you can deceive people and go free.
Yes.
Government has agencies that, you know, publicizes announcements for them. True or false? Yes. Did you hear on radio for one day that government was about to demolish the market? Did you hear it? Did you hear? No. I'm asking you, a journalist. No. Did you hear?
No.
I did not hear. So if you, yes, if demolishing a market like Ogige needed wider publicity. Do you understand? It's not enough for you to say we wrote letter to them.
Okay.
To who? To pure water people.
Apart from not notifying people and the demolition, and also maybe absence of compensation, as the case may be, do you think the ultra-modern bus terminal that was built, do you think it was worth it? Do you think it's serving a good purpose?
Well, to be sincere, I am not against idea of ultra-modern motor park. Right? It's part of development. But the question is that, does it mean that Enugu does not have any place at all where they can site that park? Do you understand? You cannot demolish a story building to build a boys' quarter. It doesn't work like that. I believe that if you combine the money that the state is going to generate for 5 years, right, it's not going to be enough or equal to what that Ogige market generates in 1 month.
Okay.
And I'm very much sure.
Yeah, we no longer have much time. I want to ask you the one more question before we go. In terms of road construction, how do you rate the governor in terms of road construction in Enugu North?
Well, in that aspect, you remember very well when the governor took over office, he announced that he was going to construct 10-kilometer roads per ward. That means that each of the wards. No, he said 10. 10 each ward. We get 10 kilometers of road, right? Now he announced it. Everybody was happy that maybe at least at the end of the tenure, people will benefit. At least you have a road. But as I'm talking to you now, nobody has constructed or even attempted constructing any road in any ward.
In Enugu North.
In Enugu State entirely. Where? Which ward have benefited? I don't know. No word at all. Nobody is even talking about. As we're talking, nobody talks about that particular promise again. Now look at Uzo. When the governor was campaigning, he promised the people of Uzo that he was going to give them University of Agriculture. Okay. The records are there. Till today, nobody is talking about it. Now, remember the time our people were being killed. They killed hundreds of persons in Uzuwani. They killed again in Hamufu. They kidnapped a lot of persons along Google. So you have not heard either from the governor or through any of his aides, either condemning or not condemning the killings. So that raises a lot of questions.
AMC, this is a very big topic. It's not something that we can just conclude in a day. So just please give a brief closing remark so that maybe some other time you will come and dive deep into this state.
Well, summarily, what I can just say is that we have tested what happened in 2023 and we sent some persons to represent us, and we have seen that they have not done anything to, that we can say, okay, that these people have actually tried, right? So I know that people are waiting, and my prayer is that all of us should be alive to see how it all ends. But as far as Enugu North is concerned, the current government in power has failed. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and I still see people maybe trying to convince us that, okay, we should vote for them again. But I know that in Enugu North, people are not people you can use, dump them, and come back again to use them. No. They know. And they know that the government knows that they have failed. So that's why they're doing everything possible to see how they can, bring everything. So you see rallies going on here and there.
Okay. Thank you very much. EMC, we really appreciate you for coming to BMTV studio today. Dear our amiable viewers, we want to appreciate you for your support. We want to and sincerely appreciate you. If you have not talked about your state constituency or your community or what is happening around you, bear with us. You can also reach us so that if there is something you want us to talk about, fine. Or you through comment sections, you can also remind us to talk about it, and we invite somebody maybe from your community or your constituency to discuss what is touching you, even your local government, because we also talk about local government chairmen and how they are doing and how they are performing. So please stay with us, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
BMTV, the future's bright and strong.